Hello guys, and welcome to a Chit Chat Get Ready with me. I already did my skincare. I did the Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream. For my moisturizer, I used the Lancome Genifique. And I used my Murad Repair Cream. And I did a little bit of eye brightener as well. And that is from First Aid Beauty. My first step in my makeup routine is a primer, and I'm still working on finding the right primer for me. I think today I'm gonna just stick to the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I don't love this stuff, but it will do. I don't want to use a whole lot of it, but we're gonna rub that right in. Make sure we're nice and rubbed in. But if anyone has primer recommendations for me, I will take them, because I've recently been using the Patrick Star primer and I thought it was good, but now I'm thinking, like, I don't know, it like weirdly like peels up on my skin. But this is nice and sticky. We love it. And then I'm going to go in with my NARS creamy concealer, or complete concealer, paint pot type deal. It is in the shade Light to Vanilla. And I actually have the NARS brush, but it broke, so I just have this little guy. So I don't put a whole lot. I just put it on my problem areas. And I honestly could probably do a little bit darker so it's not so bright on my skin. But I do like this stuff. You just can't be super heavy-handed with it. And that is where I'm going to put my concealer. I recently started breaking out on my chin because I stopped using my Murad Cellular Repair Cream, I believe. And that was a big no-no. My skin like started breaking out without it, so I started back with it. So my next step is a foundation, and I actually just got this Maybelline Superstay Skin Tint. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I got the shade 18, I want to, like neutral 18 or something, I believe. I don't know. But it's like a fair, cool toned shade, because that's the color of my skin. But I'm gonna go ahead and kind of let this sit while I tell you guys a little bit why I started YouTube. So I started YouTube in the last year. I started last June, I want to say. And the reason I started was because I had tried to start YouTube in the past. It ended up not going the way I wanted to because I didn't stick with it. But I actually love the idea of like filming videos, editing videos, putting them together and seeing what I can create. A lot of my favorite YouTubers, their reasoning was started YouTube was because they wanted to look back on the past, see how, like, I don't know, like be able to look back and say, wow, that was cool that I did that, or like film trips and see like what I did, or like give recommendations to people and help people out with like what they should do and all that kind of stuff. I really enjoyed the idea that like you could look back, your kids could look back and see what you did growing up. I always had like home videos of when I was like little itty bitty kid, and those are always so cool for me to watch. So I thought it would be cool to document my life, and if anybody cares to watch, they can watch. If not, I can always still look back and enjoy it myself. So that is kind of the reason I started YouTube. I also am just like big into like beauty, fashion, style, lifestyle type content, and I thought I could do it as well. So another reason yet why I started. And yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's been great. It's been really cool to like learn how to edit, and I've liked it so far. And my family has been enjoying it. They watch all my vlogs. I know my dad does. and my aunt and uncle do, I believe. But yeah, it's really cool to see them supporting me and what I want to do. But that is kind of my start to YouTube, and I've been enjoying it. I'll tell you a little bit about me. So I grew up in the St. Louis area. I still live in the St. Louis area. Not quite where I grew up, but pretty close. And I went to school. I went to college at the University of Arkansas, Woo Pig. I did my undergrad there. When I went there, I thought I was going to be a doctor. I was pre-med and a biology major. This skin tint actually is pretty good. I like it. But anyways, I wanted to be a doctor. I actually thought I was going to be a pediatrician, funny enough. I met so many of my close friends there. I was in a sorority there. I was in AD Pi, if anyone cares. I met like my best friends ever through that. And I loved it. I was having a good time, and then came around to when life needed to hit, and I did not want to be a doctor anymore. So I went to 4 years of that, and I was like, you know what? This isn't what I want to do with my life. I enjoy doing things other than school and other than work, and I just don't want my life to revolve around my work. And if you know anything about the doctor lifestyle, a lot of your life revolves around your work. That's like huge. So I was like, I'm not gonna do this anymore, and I switched to nursing, which nursing is a big part of my life, but it's something I can leave work and not have to think about. So I went to nursing school at Goldfarb in St. Louis. I went to the accelerated program, and I finished that in a year. Once again, met a lot of my great nursing friends, and I love them all so much. They all went into different specialties. I mean, obviously, we all went into different specialties, which is funny because we're friends. And I actually chose to go into a progressive care unit because I had a friend from college, one of my roommates. She worked on the floor, and she was like, hey, you should come work here. And I was like, okay, I'll come work there. Sounded like an easy job to get into from the start, and I went ahead and went to a progressive care unit in St. Louis. While I was in nursing school, I did meet my boyfriend Ian. He was here for the police academy. He lived in Indy, or grew up in Indy. He lived here. He moved here from Indy to be in the police academy. I met him through my brother. We actually met at the 2019 Blues Parade, Stanley Cup Parade. So that is when me and Ian met. He had a pregame at his apartment, and I went over there with my brother and my mom. Funny enough, my mom went. That was the end of the story. That's when we met and we started hanging out. We didn't start dating until October of that year, and history ever since. Side note, I really liked that skin tint. It's like pretty good coverage for a skin tint. Would recommend. I got it on Amazon, but now I'm gonna do concealer. So I use kind of a combination. I've been using this because I have a whole lot of it, and it's the Stay Naked Quickie like Urban Decay. I think I don't use this brush because I think it creates creases in your makeup. And then just a little bit of the Tarte Radiance concealer, and I'm gonna use a little bit of the Rare Beauty like eye serum. It like cools your eyes. But anyways, back to Ian and I meeting in nursing school. So I met Ian, we started dating in October of that year that I started being a nurse. It was a great year. I had a lot of fun. I moved in with my roommate from college who got me the job basically. And yeah, it was a really good year that year. And then the next year, COVID hit. That threw my nursing career through a loop. I was working nights. They shut down everything that March, and we all know how COVID went. It was a fun time. I mean, Ian and I really connected over that first year of us dating. I became a pretty solid nurse, in my opinion, that year. I learned a lot about nursing that year, and I stayed on that unit that I worked on for 3 years almost, a little under 3 years, and then I left to travel. One of my friends from nursing school who had started in the OR at another hospital, we were going to travel together, but we ended up getting contracts in 2 separate places. She went to Connecticut, New Haven, or no, she went to Minneapolis, Minnesota. She had some friends there, and then she went to Connecticut after that. But we were going to travel together, and we ended up getting different contracts because she was in the OR and she had different like places to go, and I was in the PCU / like med surg step down. So I got a job in Washington, D.C. after about 3 years, and I loved D.C. The actual hospital, not a whole lot. Like, it was not great. And it wasn't super great for, like, Ian and I's relationship. I didn't, like, I felt like we were, like, so far apart, whatever. So I came back to St. Louis after that contract and took a local assignment at the hospital I had originally started at. But I was on a surgical progressive care unit and learned, this was like 2 years ago now, we're at surgical progressive care unit. I loved that floor. It was great. All the staff was great. I loved the surgeons I worked with. Everything about it was awesome. Next I'm going to use the Dips Beauty contour and blush. So I did that for about 6 months. And that was pretty cool. I learned a lot that time around. I made friends with like the NPs, the PAs, the surgeons, etc. And I did that for 6 months. Then they were starting to try to lower my contract, and meanwhile I had looked into the current job that I have now, which is through that same hospital system. And I was like, you know what, they're like picking my schedule for me. I don't really enjoy that. With this new job, it was, I pick my days. I don't have to work full time if I don't want to. Like, PRN job is what I'm doing, you guys know. So I was like, why don't, and this job I was going to make more. So I was like, let's just make that jump. And I'm so happy that I did. Had I not traveled and done all this stuff, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today. But I love what I do now. So it's kind of like a float pool for the hospital system. It's like a regional float pool. And I get to pick the hospital facility that I work at. And I love it. I pick my days. I haven't worked a weekend in like months, and that was only because I chose to work the weekend, not because they chose for me. Their only requirement is to work once every 3 months, and I just love it. So I started that last May-ish, like April, May, end of April, early May, and I did that for a while. And I also did a travel, like a local travel contract for an outpatient clinic. I started that in April also. So I started both of those around the same time. It was pretty cool to see the outpatient life. I worked in like so it's called a specialty care clinic. So it had dermatology, podiatry, neurology. I'm trying to think of what else we had. There was a lot of stuff like toxicology for people, neurosurgery. It was like a big doctor's office, and that was cool. But they did not need travelers for too long, and I had found the job I'm currently working at the other hospital system that I worked at yesterday. And it was through the same system that this clinic job was at. And I couldn't work the staff job that I was looking at if I didn't quit the clinic. So I did quit the clinic and I transitioned to inpatient with this new hospital system. And I'm so happy that I did, honestly. It's been great. Other than not having a whole lot of shifts to pick up, it's been great in my opinion. I still do primarily most of my stuff at the other hospital system that I've worked most of my career at, but I do still have to do like one shift a week at this other hospital system because they don't let me work full-time hours since it's PRN. Now, if you followed along with me this far, I've been doing that job since November, December, so not very long, and I do love it. And that leads me to where I'm at now. I am a nurse for 2 different hospital systems in the St. Louis area. I work full-time hours between 2 PRN positions, so I get to pick my own schedule. I work all over the hospitals, everywhere. If you picked out a hospital in St. Louis, I probably have worked at it at some point or do now, and I love it. So that is where my career-wise where I've been. I decided to start YouTube last June, and it was right after my grandpa had a stroke in May. I realized how quickly life can turn, and I figured, why not start something I've wanted to do my whole life now, because we never know where life can take us. So that is yet another reason why I started YouTube. Side note, outside of that, I love this dipstick. It is in this shade Starlit. My brother got it for me for Christmas. I thought I was getting Jenna Palek's Fun on Weekdays one, but I didn't. I guess I sent him a different link, but I'm not upset about it because it's still really cute. Let's see, what else can I tell you guys about my own life? I feel like I'm just a busybody. I feel like not really a busybody. I feel like I'm just a normal person doing normal person things. I love to travel. I've been to several countries. Funny enough, before COVID, like right after nursing school, I went to China and Japan. But before that, my first country I ever traveled to was Mexico with my dad. Actually, it might not have been. My first country, I think, was with my grandma, now that I think about it. She took me on like a 2-week Europe vacation after high school, and that was so much fun. We went like all over Europe. We started in London, went all the way down to Italy, and came back up to Paris, and it was 2 weeks long. It was like a good little starter trip that got me on my travel kick. And then after college, I went to Greece because I was like, you know what? In between nursing school and college, I needed a little break, and I went to Greece all by myself. I went through a travel company called EF Ultimate Breaks, which if you are in your 20s, early 30s, I think it's 18 to 20 or to 35 you can use the Ultimate Breaks. I would highly, 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 highly recommend, even if you don't have a travel buddy, go by yourself, because you will find some great friends on those trips. But I went to Greece right after my undergrad. Loved that and had so much fun. It was a great thing to do in between nursing school and undergrad. And then that got me more on my travel kick. So after nursing school, since my nursing school was only a year long, I went to China and Japan. I went the fall before COVID, so that was a very cool experience. I loved every second of that. China, not as much as Japan, but I still loved it. And then after I had worked, I went to Costa Rica at one point with my friends I had met in Greece and China and Japan. And then I also went to Greece with my mom about 2 years ago once I started traveling because I had more money to take trips. So I went to Greece again with my mom, and that was also through EF, but it was the go-ahead. It was the family style one, like older family style. And I loved that. And that was good. And I also went to, I think that's it. But I've been to like Punta Cana, I've been to Mexico. Oh, I went to Peru during nursing school for a like mission trip type style thing. We did healthcare for them, checked vitals, provided like clothes and shoes, all that kind of jazz. It was an eye-opening experience for me. And I got very sick in Peru because I used the water to brush my teeth, and I thought that wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it was. And I've never been more ill at an airport in my life than I was at the Miami airport on the way home. I literally thought I was gonna be left in Peru. I was so ill. I don't know how I made it home. But I got to see Machu Picchu, and that was cool. I can tell you guys some of my favorite influencers that got me to this point as well, and kind of taught me how to do all the stuff that I'm doing now. My very first like influencer that I probably followed was Gretchen Garrity. She is so cute and so sweet on her channel. I've followed her the longest. I probably followed her since like freshman year of high school, or a little bit after maybe. And then from her, I followed Brooke and Danielle, the Gals on the Go. And I just recently saw their podcast in Chicago this past fall, and they were so good. Would recommend. And I also follow Anna Hyde from Nursing Stuff. I think she's like such a good depiction of nurse life. If you're ever wondering how she does it, so am I. Those are kind of the primary ones that I follow. I watch like here and there the other ones. I watch Jenica and Annika some, but those are the primary ones that I follow. Let's see. So I just got done using the Charlotte Tilbury. This is my Ride or Die makeup palette, and as you can see, it has been put through the ringer, but I still, like, my highlighter's falling apart. I think I actually might use some of this blush. No, I'm gonna use a different blush. That's my Ride or Die palette. Now I'm going to use my Milani Baked Blush. It is so old, but I like it so much. It's got like a little gold in it for that dibs. I think it works well with it. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of that on my cheeks just to kind of set that. And I'm pretty close to finishing up my makeup. I just have to do my mascara. This is like a casual. It's like an event type makeup that I'm doing. And then to top her off, this is the end of my base. I do this Turn Up the Light highlight palette, I think, from Too Faced. It has a 3-in-1. I don't normally go for the very shimmery one, but I usually do that one in the middle. It's called Soft Focus. And I feel like highlight just really enhances your look. I am interested to know what other videos you guys would like to see from me, because I feel like I do a lot of vlogs, but I can do more of this kind of stuff if you guys like it. I don't really know what this video was. I feel like it was just me talking about my life, explaining who I am. I guess it's like a get to know me / get ready with me. That's kind of my base makeup. I am going to grab my, actually I'm just gonna kind of brush my eyebrows first. And then I'm gonna grab my mascara that I just got in the mail. I got the tubing mascara from Thrive Cosmetics. And if you know Gretchen, she is the one that uses that made me want to actually finally try it. But I'm gonna grab that. Actually, I'll do my brows first. I'm gonna use the Anastasia brow gel. I like this stuff a lot. I finally got a new tube of it recently, but it like freezes those brows in place. I do get my brows done occasionally. I recently actually got them done. If you don't watch my vlogs, go watch. I recently got them laminated and tinted about 3 weeks ago, so it's starting to fade now, so I do have some holes in my brows probably. This is my new Liquid Lash Extension Mascara. It's tubing mascara from Thrive Cosmetics. Going to try that, but first I'm going to curl my lashes. My makeup's actually turning out really pretty good today, shockingly. I am not a big eyeliner and eyeshadow gal. Let's try this mascara out. So far, love the applicator. This applicator is great. I feel like you can really get in there and like separate your lashes, which I like. Okay, so there's with and without the mascara. It's not a huge difference. It's not like super volumizing, but I feel like it's a good day-to-day mascara. I really like the applicator, and we'll see how it comes off, because my biggest thing with mascara is I can never get it off because it's like so, I don't know, I feel like I rip out my eyelashes. I do like it though. And I just go along, rub it off. My bottom lashes, I normally do this one, but I'm gonna do the tubing as well and just kind of barely get the outsides. And I put a little bit of the Eye Bright Tarte stuff on the inner corner of my bottom lash line. That looks good. Last step, I spray my face with the best stuff ever. It's the One Size On Till Dawn Mattifying Waterproof Setting Spray. And then I get dressed. And I put on lips after I get dressed. Weird, but this is the final makeup look. In case you guys wanted to see the final outfit, I went very casual. So since the denim shirt trend is in, this is what I'm wearing. These like bubble earrings I got on Amazon. This is actually from a designer bag thing on Instagram that I follow. My Timberlands are very old. I decided to break them out to go with the rustic vibe of the shirt. leggings because I just wanted to be comfortable. I did try on jeans, but it's not in the cards for me today. And this is my complete look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!